Here we go, we're live, just walking out of the studio. Here he is.
M&F's done.
M&F's done for another week. We've, good game, 2-2. Let you all join first before we get into the core of the chat.
Well, this is M&F Raw.
M&F Unplugged, M&F Raw.
This is M&F with no producers, no one.
No producers. This is a sort of, to be fair, production that would probably end up us getting sacked off Sky Hierarchy if it was on television. Ollie out, here we go again. United fans having a go at me saying Ollie out. Honestly, if you want Ollie out, go away. Don't follow me. It ain't going to happen, honestly. Never asked for a manager to be sacked in 11 years. I'm certainly not going to ask for someone who's a club legend and my mate. So honestly, tonight I'm having enough of it. Yeah, Ollie's mate, I am Ollie's mate. Yeah, no problem. I'm good with that. Very happy.
So what are we doing on M&F Raw?
Arteta in. Well, M&F Raw tonight. What do you think of the show? Let's start with the show first.
I enjoyed the show tonight. I mean, sometimes we have a show where we do lots of little bits. Tonight was two big stories with Newcastle and Man United, and I think we hit them, whether people agree with that or not. And obviously the Newcastle issue at the end of the show we spoke about, obviously off the pitch and the ownership as well. No, I enjoyed tonight. It was a good show. Big. It was time for a big one, wasn't it, on Manchester United? It felt like the right time to have a real good scrutiny of what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've been getting wound up for a few weeks with United's performances. I think the performances have been really poor. And tonight, Sunday, Saturday was a culmination. I think that to me, sometimes as a team, hopefully, you have a crossroads moment, a moment where, I said to you before, it's the type of performance that would have brought a team meeting in. I think that would have brought a team meeting, or maybe a meeting with the senior players and the manager.
If you had that meeting with Sir Alex Ferguson, would it just be him telling you, or would you be getting... You're not shy, are you? So would you be getting involved in a meeting like that and telling, say, well, we're not doing this in training, or what about yourself, or what about the coaching staff?
It only happened 3 or 4 times in my time at United, but there were meetings where, we've got to do this in training, we've got to train harder, we've got to do more work on our defensive side of things, where he might sometimes bring senior players in. But there definitely were meetings when you had those moments where you think, right, we've hit a low, it can't get any worse. Where are we here, by the way? We've hit a low, and sometimes those team meetings are needed to clear the air, where you just got to get it all out in the open. And I suspect, look, I don't know, but I think that after Saturday, I suspect that those senior players, they need to get on.
What can you say to them?
What
can you say to them?
Well, it's not a case of what.
Work harder.
Do you know something? I think when you go into a team meeting with players, I would suspect nowadays, you're not exactly going in there and giving them a massive rollicking. You're going in there, to be fair, to give them a sort of a platform to be able to air how they're feeling, what they think's going wrong, what we can do better.
Do you think there's a chance they could have a go back at the manager or the staff?
I think it would all be always respectful. I don't think anybody would go and break rank. But I think generally they would be saying, look, we need to defend better, we need to work harder from the front, we need to...
Oh yeah, I wouldn't hear.
Here goes our car.
You get in the front even though it's a people carrier?
I usually get in the front, don't I? But I think I have to get in the back of this one. Yeah, we're in the back here tonight. Here we go, this should be interesting. Sorry. Do you guys kiss? No, we don't, Nat. No, we don't.
Depends how much you're paying.
Is there a light in the back so we can... We're live on air here. Oh, you got it. Can you just put the lights on? Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So we're on. Yeah, so I think that there might have been... Look, I don't know. I don't know if there's a meeting, but I think there might have been a meeting. Because there's no doubt that the performances in the last few weeks, I don't think have been an improvement on last season. And with this squad, that can't happen. So, look, big week, Atalanta Wednesday, tough game, and Liverpool Sunday. So,
do you think there's any way it could get untenable? I've said before that they shouldn't be thinking about getting rid of the manager right now. That may be something they should look at the end of the season. I don't think anything right now. But I remember Roy Hodgson at Liverpool, and Ollie's doing a lot better than what Roy was doing at Liverpool. But Liverpool aren't a sacking club. A little bit like United in some ways. They don't want to sack a manager. But do you think it could get untenable if the next 2 games, they lose the next 2 games or something like that, or they're just sticking with it?
No, what I do is try and speak to the. I don't speak to the manager. I don't speak to Ollie. I don't speak to the coaches. I don't speak to the players. But I do try and speak. You try and speak to sort of people at the club and say, look, where are the club at? You hear it in the media. You've heard it over the last 24 hours. The club are absolutely unequivocal in the support for Ollie. They're absolutely going to support him. They're absolutely going to go through what will be these difficult moments. Let him sort of carry on getting and building this team together, which, to be fair, there is 3 or 4 new players in. He asked me what could become untenable. The only thing in football now I think that comes untenable is the results get that bad to a point whereby it just becomes like a nightmare situation. But I don't think it will.
But the crowd, the crowd would never go, would they?
The other thing is if the big players kick off. That's always a problem for a manager in the dressing room. If the big players kick off, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I think,
the crowd would never go against Ollie, no matter what would be in the stadium.
Just something. Look, there's a thing at the moment. I'm a United fan, been a United fan for 40 years, and I've never asked for a manager to be sacked in 40 years. Now, obviously, most of my life it was Ron Atkinson, then it was Sir Alex Ferguson, so you might say I've been lucky. But I never asked for Sir Alex Ferguson to be sacked in the first 3-4 years, and people say the time's changed now. I've sacked managers with Salford. We have a completely different club, completely different model, completely different expectation, completely different way of doing things. And even there, our first 2 managers that we appointed were 3.5 years and 2.5 years. Last season I sacked Graham Alexander, shouldn't have sacked him, then ended up on spiralling, sacking Richie later on in the season.
Okay, but what I'll say, being honest now, is I haven't had this situation, and this could happen with me if, say, Stevie Gerrard took over after Klopp or something, where you've got a personal relationship with someone, you're a lot closer to Ollie than you would be to, say, Jose Mourinho or Louis van Gaal. Does that make it more difficult when you're talking about someone who you know?
But I never asked for them to be sacked.
No, I'm not saying you did, but do you find it more difficult then if they're in a situation?
I've said that the performances are massively away from where they need to be. They're poor. They're awful to watch. They haven't got a style of play. That is a criticism of Ollie. All those things are direct criticism of Ollie, and I think he would accept that. He's been in the job 2.5 years now, so he would accept that criticism. It's not personal. I love him to bits, but I'm not going to ask. I never asked for Arsene Wenger to be sacked, or Steve Keane, or Harry Redknapp at QPR, or any managers that have had difficult times. I never asked for a manager to be sacked. It was something I said to myself. It's inhuman for a pundit to ask for a manager to be sacked, I believe. Now, do I accept the managers get put under pressure? They do get sacked. Of course I do. I know the game. But I'm not going to ask for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked at Manchester United. The reality of it is, Manchester United fans on social media, not particularly, I can't believe they are fans, to be honest with you. How would you treat a club legend with such disrespect? And the language and the tone of voice against him that I've seen in the last 24, 48 hours is terrible. Yeah, of course you can say, look, Ollie's under pressure, Ollie's,
Yeah, but our supporters are allowed to say they want to change a manager, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's the way in which, to be fair, the abuse. The abuse now of, say, Steve Bruce at the moment, the abuse of Ollie, and the abuse of players at times on social media. The abuse of us at times is justified like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, I asked the question, I couldn't believe it at the end tonight. We asked a question on Saudi Arabian ownership of Newcastle. I give what I believe to be a quite detailed answer. All of a sudden, Paxman / Kay Burley / Greta Thunberg here on my right starts basically piping up about, well, I'm not too sure about that, Gary, and starts giving me some answers back. What's your opinion on Saudi Arabian ownership at Newcastle, please, sir?
Well, my opinion of it is basically you wanted to speak about this situation all day, so we were running out of time, so you wanted to have a say on it, and I thought I was well within my rights to play devil's advocate and push it on some of your opinions. Not that I don't agree with them as such. I agree with a lot of what you said, as I said on the show. But I think it's fair to be able to be pushed, isn't it? Do you think you should just have a forum where no one's allowed to question your opinion on Monday Night Football?
You absolute arsehole, this guy, though. Seriously. Absolute arsehole. No, on the issue of, to be fair, Saudi Arabian ownership and human rights and women's rights, if you're going to challenge me on it, then you at least have to have an alternate opinion. You can't just sit there and challenge me on it. That's Dave Jones's job. He's the presenter of the show. So if you're a pundit on the show, you can challenge me on it, but you have to have a different opinion. You can't just sit there and start lobbing grenades in at me.
No, you're across it a lot more than me. You are, there's no doubt.
What, Saudi Arabia?
No, on issues like that, you cover them a lot more than me. But I thought I was well within my rights to sort of question some of your opinions on it. There wasn't necessarily that I thought something different, but, when you're talking about these should be allowed in, I thought I was well within my rights to question. Now, if Dave didn't want to step in, I saw that the chance was there. I think, Monday Night Football is bigger than anyone, isn't it? So we've got to make sure we get the content right and push each other as much as we possibly can. Did you feel you were pushed?
There's always a really clear way of knowing when he is being an arsehole, because what he does, he goes really soft in his voice, and the scouse comes out of it a little bit, and he starts to talk gently and sort of like he's had elocution lessons, and you always know that's when he's bullshitting it. Honestly, you always know that. It's 100%. So anyway, what pick us up on our next? I think picking up on my last comment of the evening, I do feel really confident about United on Sunday against Liverpool, you know.
No, I mean, I think it's a game where Liverpool's struggling at Old Trafford. They have done for a long time. It's not just Jurgen Klopp's team. Sometimes you just have those grounds, and it just feels like that when Liverpool play there. And I agree with you. Listen, I'm not saying United will win. I still think Liverpool will just do. But even if Liverpool do win, it'll be really tight. It could go either way. I know Liverpool ran out convincing winners last time out, but a little bit like when Everton won at Anfield, when there was no support, it was a bit strange last season. I just think it will be different. I think the atmosphere will be electric, because I think Man United fans are sort of similar to Liverpool in that when you feel like the world's against you and everyone's attacking your club, when you get into that stadium for a big game. I always remember we played, I'm not sure you were playing then, but Rafa's last season we were really struggling. We get a lot of criticism. I think we may have gone up the Champions League a few days before, and we played you in Anfield and we beat you 2-0. David Ngo scored and stuff like that. Now, we weren't a great team at the time, but it was that coming together of making it difficult, being hard to beat. And that's what I think United will do. They'll try and be hard and difficult to beat. Liverpool will dominate possession, but so that United will dig in. But, I mean, I hope they play the team you said that they'll play. I really do hope that that is the team. They play the 5 attackers and go for it, because I think that would play into Liverpool's hands.
Do you see what I'm saying though about Ollie's conundrum ahead of Sunday? That if he backs off and plays McTominay, Fred, Lingard, plays a more what would be pragmatic team, that he's almost saying to those big players that are world class, likes of Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Varane, all these players that he's brought in, that I don't trust you in the big games because I've got to play the dogs. I don't think he can do that. Do you understand what I'm saying by the theory behind it? I just don't see how he can think that he can go and drop these players. You can't have Cavani, Sancho, Pogba all sat on the bench watching McTominay, Fred and others. I just don't think he can.
Do you think his plan was, obviously the Ronaldo one, we all know why Ronaldo signed, because City were going to sign him. It was a last minute thing that's come out of nowhere. But do you think his actual plan was to sort of play Pogba centre midfield this season? Because he did start the season on the left before obviously Ronaldo signed. They finished the end of the season last season. I just can't believe that was always the plan.
I just something in pre-season it came out, didn't it, that he was going to play the holder in midfield, and then he was going to play Pogba and Fernandes in front. And I'm still not understanding why we've not tried that one with the 2 in front, then the 3 up front. Because I think you could play Ronaldo to the left a little bit then, off Cavani or a
Gary, no.
You can. Honestly, I watch Salah every single week. He's an unbelievable player, and sometimes Henderson covers behind him as a wide player.
Who's going to cover for Ronaldo?
But they have to put somebody on that left of the 3 in midfield. Pogba will have to do it.
Pogba's not going to do that for Ronaldo.
We're done, aren't we? No, we'll be all right. Don't worry. I think, honestly, I still feel that we'll finish second this season. I think there's a long way to go. It's early doors. There's obviously always a lot of emotion with United, but I think we'll finish second.
I think they'll finish second, seriously?
I think they'll finish second, yeah.
No
second
chance.
or third.
No chance.
I think they'll finish above Liverpool, to be fair.
Only if Liverpool have a mad injury record.
Our Instagram live's recorded. I hope they're not recording, are they? It's like, no one's recording this, are they? No. We didn't get a chance to cover Chelsea tonight. I do think Chelsea are genuine contenders, to be fair. No, I think they're genuine. They're resilient, they're tough. They've
got a bit of the Mourinho's Chelsea about that. They're resilient, but they're also got. There's a little bit of a nasty, little bit of even at the end of the game, there was a bit of play acting going on with the defenders staying down, and I don't think they were quite here, but they were just playing with the time. It was very Mourinho-like, I feel, when I watch this Chelsea team. I think Chelsea at Anfield, when they were down to 10 men, that was almost like a Mourinho-type performance. That sort of really horrible to play against. Yeah, I don't think they will win the league, Chelsea, but I think they'll go really close. I think it's City.
I'm just a little bit concerned, to be fair, because I'm boiling in this taxi. You look like the Michelin man. You don't take that jacket.
I feel like I'm after the food of the sky all day.
Are you not warm in that?
I'll take it off if you want. So your viewers want to see the biceps?
Honestly, absolutely. But can we have some air conditioning, please? Would that be possible? Sorry. That's better. That would have been easy, wouldn't it? you.
It's not
Right.
like you don't have things to say.
We're going to answer some questions. We've got about another 15 minutes left, so we're going to entertain you for a little bit longer. Love you, lads. Thank you. Always satisfied with second position, Gary? No, I'm not satisfied with second position. Love you guys. That's not a question. How did you not pick Cristiano in your combined team?
I never picked him in because of I was thinking about I've picked a Liverpool team with 2 or 3 a couple of Man United players in there, and yeah, you know what, I initially did pick Ronaldo when I picked the team in the morning, and the more I was thinking about it, I was thinking, would Liverpool right now, not Ronaldo as obviously best, he'd be the first name on the team sheet, but I just thought right now, no. I feel he's a player who'll score up, maybe his record for United, he'll score 25 goals this season. But just that thing of if he didn't score, I think it's been evident, there's probably not a lot there at the moment because he's 36. And I just think Greenwood's a start. I think he scores goals, he can play different positions. I love Greenwood, I really do.
I do.
I'm a massive fan, so I just wanted him in the... I was actually thinking, I mean, the team come up, to be fair, when I did the team, I said maybe Greenwood could go on the right and put Salah up front or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I just, listen, I could have picked Ronaldo easily.
I thought mine edged yours tonight.
So you think your team would beat my team?
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, okay.
I think you're accepting that a little bit, aren't you? Firmino behind Ronaldo.
We picked 9 of the same. What would we pick? 9 of the same?
8. I picked Firmino and Ronaldo up front, and I picked Maguire as centre back. And
I went for Matip. I think Matip's been brilliant this season. I think
Maguire's a good on set pieces.
I mean, Fernandez's numbers are just... I mean, I suppose you've got Firmino and then he just scored a hat-trick yesterday. But I think over the last... He was the one definite, I think, for the United player. If you say to me, when I picked that team, I didn't think twice about Fernandez. It was like he was always going in. Obviously, you didn't put him in, but he was the one United player that was an absolute... He was a guarantee he was going in.
Right, I've said a couple of times, and your mob are coming on to me quite a lot about it, me saying it.
What's that?
That something's just not quite right about Liverpool. And my interpretation of that is that there's just something... They're not the same as they were 2 or 3 years ago. Do you think that they are the same as they were 2 or 3 years ago? Do you understand what I mean by them saying it's not quite...
I think...
Because I've seen them here.
Yeah, but you watched the Chelsea game, didn't you? And then I think you were disappointed with Liverpool in the second half of that game against Chelsea.
And the City game.
Yeah, no, I agree. But when you actually look at sort of people, even supporters now, not just us on Monday Night Football, the numbers, the metrics, the goals, the XG, everything they sort of doing, the numbers are massive. They're actually above where they were. And this is not just this season. It goes back to sort of... I saw something this morning, the last sort of 10 games of last season, I think Liverpool won 10 games out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or something. So the numbers of... Yeah, you can look at results.
Win the league then?
No. I think they'll just fall short because I think in terms of quality what they've got right now, but it's just the play. If something happened to one of the big players, like if Man City lost De Bruyne for like a month or 6 weeks, it wouldn't hurt them as much as Liverpool losing Salah or Van Dijk. Or I know Van Dijk was out for the whole season, and that's just me one thing. City have got players, and also coming off the bench to change a game. Man City almost changed like for like. I think Chelsea's probably a bit similar as well. They always change like for like. When Liverpool make a change in the bench, unless maybe it's Jota, Firmino, really, there's nothing else that where you think that's like for like, really. You see the problems Liverpool had in just one game against Man City at right back, with obviously Trent being out for one game. That was all he missed, one game. Milner comes in, Gomez comes on. It's a big drop off. If Liverpool keep the best players fit and they're playing 80-90% of the games, Liverpool have got a great chance. It's just it's in the lap of the gods, that, isn't it?
So your top 4 at the start of the season was?
I think I put Liverpool before the ball was kicked. I think I put Liverpool 3rd, Chelsea 2nd, Man City 1st, Man United 4th. But I haven't watched. I actually do another one for the paper after the Man City game, after the first 6 games of the season. Yeah. And I put Liverpool back 2nd on the sort of evidence. Even though it was only 4 or 5 games, I thought they're a lot better than where I thought they'd sort of be looking and where they'd be. So I think Liverpool will finish 2nd.
City top?
I think City will be, yeah.
And Chelsea 3rd?
Yes.
And United 4th?
that could be debatable if they keep playing that team that he played at Leicester and the team that you want to play against Liverpool. That's not a team. That's just, I think you can have problems with that team. No, I do. I think you can have problems with the top four.
What
do you think they'll qualify for the Champions League group? Because I think if you go in the Europa League and start playing that Thursday, Sunday.
I must admit, I'm a bit worried about the game Wednesday night. Atalanta are
They're a good team, Atalanta.
Yeah.
They give Liverpool problems. Certainly in that game at Anfield, Liverpool beat them quite convincingly away from home. They're one of those teams, Atalanta. I'm not saying they're like Leeds, but they're really high energetic, press all over the pitch. Sometimes you can really batter them and take them apart, but other times they can give you real problems. So, fingers crossed they give you problems.
Sure. And I watched United. I watched the game back yesterday, and I think every team has a bad game and every player has a bad game. But I was watching them and I thought, they don't run Manchester United's distances as a team are poor, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Manchester United's running stats as a team are really poor in terms of distance covered compared to all the other top teams. I did a piece tonight on pressures of all the forwards of the top four teams, and Manchester United only had Jadon Sancho in the top 12. And I just think to myself, how can those players there, they're so talented, why are they not sprinting all over the pitch every second of every game? That sounds a bit stupid, but why are they not, when they give the ball away, reacting in transition? Why are they not getting to the ball as quickly as they can, sprinting as quick to the ball as they do when they're counter-attacking? If you think about how quick Manchester United counter-attack sometimes, why don't they sprint to the ball to try and win it back? The same we've seen Conor Gallagher tonight for Crystal Palace, or Aubameyang for Arsenal, or De Bruyne for City, or Bernardo Silva, or Mane, or Firmino, or all these players that are great players around the world. And I think of what Tevez and Rooney and...
is that lazy by the players or a lack of motivation from the manager?
That's the bit watching the game back yesterday, and I thought, you know something, these lads are talented, they're good players, there's no doubt about that. And I think, why are they not sprinting every single time to get to the ball to win it back? Why are they not sprinting back when they lose the ball? And I watch every other team play and they do, and that's the bit that I can't get. Now, it's an easy thing to say, the manager. I accept it, the manager's got to take responsibility for that, and Ollie's got to correct. That to me is the biggest thing he has to correct. He has to get them into a basic defensive system, and he has to get them basically working up towards the ball and getting back quickly when they lose the ball.
Is it not a bit late for that?
Well, no, this is it's a pretty new team, this, I think. I think it's a pretty new team in terms of, Varane's coming in. If Pogba goes into midfield, that's new. Obviously, Cristiano's coming in. Greenwood's come back from last season, which was a disappointing one. Sancho's come in, and it's obviously a big signing. I do think I do think there are some big things happened at United in the first couple of months of the season, which means it is taking time to settle. So, but I just think that's the thing that disappoints me most. I actually can watch United lose. I can watch United lose or draw, no problem. I can't watch them not apply themselves out of possession and give their... That's the one thing that, to be fair, hurts me.
But how you keep saying that you want to leave these 5 attacking players in, but you talk about balance in football. You talk about, you mentioned after the game the other day, workhorses in football, the players you had in your United team. So what's making you stick with... What's going to change then if you keep playing sort of 5 attacking players and don't have another player in there who almost play for the team and sacrifice himself? How will it change? Do you think those players are all of a sudden going to start running around and pressing?
Look, I completely get you, but I remember at United when let's say the 2 great teams that I was part of, and I wasn't in the 2008 final, but I played in 2006-07. That team predominantly was Carragher in midfield, who wasn't a Kante or a Vieira as a holding midfield player. He was a passer but understood the game. You had Paul Scholes alongside him, who, to be fair, was not an unbelievable defender. You then had Giggs, Ronaldo, Tevez and Rooney. There's 5 attacking players in.
I know, but
listen to it. Hear me out. 5 attacking players in that team, and then they'll go to 99. York, Cole, Scholes, Beckham, Giggs. But they all had an unbelievable work ethic. They all had an unbelievable work rate. And then look at, say, for instance, the Del Bosque Real Madrid team. that had Redondo in midfield holding, and then they had McManaman and like mad players everywhere, like, you know, they're just like we're just attacking players, Raul and Morientes, and they went and won Champions Leagues. I watched the Paris Saint-Germain team now with Neymar and Mbappe, Messi,
no chance they'll win the Champions League.
Di Maria, and all these attacking players. And I think, you know, it's not new. You know, City under Pep, I know he's as a phenomenon, Pep, but they had in the first great team that he built that was unbelievable, De Bruyne and Silva, who came as wingers and who were, to be fair, flimsy midfield players at best, but now they work like dogs. You had Sané on the left, a winger. You had Sterling, who at Liverpool today wouldn't have been regarded
so
as...
Why
and then you have Aguero, who couldn't press.
Do they work because they're hard-working players anyway, or is it the man? So are they hard-working players before they work with Pep Guardiola, or does Pep Guardiola make them work?
I think Pep Guardiola, to be fair, gives them something to hang off that makes them proud of their defensive work. I went to Sir Alex in the dressing room. He used to say, be proud of how hard you work for each other, and there was a reason for us to go out there. Even if you're a talented player or a dog like me, everyone used to work as hard as each other. And I just think they've got to, somehow Ollie has got to find something in this next week, 24, 48 hours, that binds those players together, that says, right, we're here, we're all talented, we're all a good group of players, they're decent lads. Find something that makes them want to hurt for each other and for the club and for themselves and for their families, whatever it is that the new contract, whatever it might be, something. They've got to find something that means that them 5 players that you said that they can't work together, but I've seen it with other clubs. They've 5 attacking players that work their absolute tripe off. Why can't these 5 players, whoever they might be, could be Rashford?
I feel like we've been talking about this for like 2 or 3 years since Fernandes come. We've had the same discussion with Pogba. Ronaldo at his age is never going to press now. You see his numbers, he hasn't been doing that for years at other clubs. So I just don't see how it's changing. I feel like we're just repeating ourselves with Man United and certain players. It's just like...
Anyway,
you got what? Friday night football, that's when we'll be back on.
Friday night football, we're back on. It's Arsenal versus, who is it?
Aston. I like watching Aston Villa.
Aston Villa likes watching Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So it's Arsenal versus Aston Villa, Friday night football. Then we're doing Man United Liverpool Sunday. We've just been given our Christmas programme. We've got Monday night football on 27th of December.
Are these official? Are these out yet?
Oh yeah, sorry. Are they out yet? Sky announced them. Well, anyway, I'm on the 27th of December, Monday Night Football. I think there's a big game. Is it Chelsea?
You normally do a little deal with Sky, don't you? Make sure you're away for the new year. Make sure you get your holiday in.
I like a little ski trip.
Oh, he likes
I like a little ski trip in January.
Yeah.
So I always try and do a little deal. Don't mind working over Christmas, Boxing Day. Get me on, no problems. Get me on Boxing Day, 27th, 24th, Christmas Day if you like. But on January the 2nd, that depressing week that no one likes, get me out of here. I'm done. January. Yeah, so, you booked to go away, don't you? Is it Saint Lucia?
Whoa.
Why are we not allowed to say that?
It's a Christmas...
It's what?
It's for sure. It could be a Christmas present, man.
For who? Nicola?
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah.
I've just given away the Christmas present to his wife. If you can get... There's, I think, 8,000 people, maybe 9,000 people watching this.
She won't be watching.
Please don't let... Nicola, who is Jamie's wife, know that she's going to Saint Lucia in January.
I have to get something else to be no surprise. Oh God.
Right, well done. I'll take it. I'll go with you. We'll go and do a live in Saint Lucia. We'll go and do a live in Saint Lucia. Right, come on United on Sunday. See you all later. Bye bye.